and Cindy walks in and she's like, oh my God, fornication. Oh, and Alice is like, yeah, we're having sex. It's great. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games, I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video.
You swore. It's becoming a habit.
I'll survive. I will survive. Hey.
Let's go ahead and get into his chat. Fear Street, 1978, Part 2, chat. My scene by scene by scene by scene breakdown, chat. But before we go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty details, chat, I have to ask you a very important question. And that question being, chat, how many of you have seen Fear Street 1978, chat? Came out last week. You got the next movie coming out very soon, chat. 48 hours away, less than 48 hours away. It's just like 36 hours. I don't know math. It's like a day and a half away. But how many of you seen the second one? Thank you, Chris Harris. Thank you. Appreciate that. I haven't seen it, says Stranger Shoe. Axel, nope, have not seen it. Chris Harris, not yet. Sorry, maybe. No, I haven't. You guys, gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. It's good. Be back watching both of these in my kids' room, so skip. And I understand, no problem at all, Demimus Klein. I get you. Jason and I watched both films Sunday night after the Sunday service. I watched their review. Yeah, we were, Corey and I were pretty positive. Martin wasn't a fan, but Corey and I really liked them. Eldenberger says, nope. Interesting. So a lot of you haven't seen this one. I know that some of you have seen the last one, 94, but you haven't watched 1978. Curious. So here's what greets and salutations. Hope you're living long and prospering, good sir. Just jumping right into my next review, Fear Street 1978 Part 2. It's been fun. Have you seen this movie, CDR Spock? I'm curious. I'm like, apparently not a lot of people have seen this. All right. Fair enough, chat. Well, I have. Okay, there we go. Well, the majority have not seen it. That's fine, though, chat, because I am here to tell you the tale of Fear Street 1978, chat, okay? Of Nightwing Camp and the murders that happened, chat. But to give you a brief background of the film, again, this is an adaptation of R.L. Stine's Fear Street series, taking parts from various books and things. And running with it, chat. It's, again, directed by Leah Janiak, who I believe, you guys have told me before, is one of the wives of the Duther brothers, chat, who are the creators of the Stranger Things, which, obviously, because there's a lot of Stranger Things actors, chat, in this series, both in Part 1 and in Part 2 here. The main girl in this, Sadie Sink, plays the character of Max, Mad Max, chat, in Stranger Things. She appeared in season 2 and on, and she's here playing the character of Ziggy Berman, chat. A girl who could never get along with anybody, chat. She was the odd man out, chat. The weird girl from Shadyside, chat. That town on the other side of the tracks where it's filled with the poors and the druggies and the alcoholics, chat. All them sex fiends over there in Shadyside. She's one of them. But yeah, that's probably one of the more recognizable actors from this film. Also, as an actor, I thought was quite funny from Halloween 2018, chat. Now, you might not know the name, but Drew Scheid plays the character of Gary. And I thought he was quite funny in the movie, chat. I'll tell you what happens to Gary in a bit. It's not good, chat. But no, this is the direct sequel to 1994, chat. This movie jumps around in time, primarily in the year 1978, but it starts out in the beginning in 94, right after the events of Fear Street 94, which I do encourage you to check out my review for that, chat. It was very fun. And then it jumps back to the present, chat. 94, well, the present being 94 after the events of 78. And then it goes all the way back to 1666. But you don't know how that happens, chat. But I shall explain all in a bit, chat. But, my friends, we open up in the year 1994, and we see fucking Britta from Community, chat, and her miserable fucking existence of a life, chat. She is C. Berman, chat. And all she does all day, I don't know, how does she fucking afford anything? She spends all of her time inside of her house. She watches TV in the evening news, recapping the events, chat. Although it's been manipulated though, because the media is lying to you, chat. The media, they're like, oh yeah, fucking Simon and Kate from the last movie, they went fucking bonkers. They stuffed all their tummies filled with drugs, and they had a murder rampage, and they were put down. But that wasn't true, and C. Berman knows that's not true, chat. That's the fucking witch, man. That's what it is. And she's watching TV, chat. She's drinking some, Jim Beam, drinking some whiskey. That's all she's doing, chat. She's smoking, and everything's like neat and orderly, though, chat. It's like her life's in chaos. It feels that way, the miserable life, but it's super orderly and super neat. And all of a sudden, you hear this one, bzzz, you hear this loud buzzing. You hear this fucking timer go off, chat, this clock. And that's how she lives her life, chat. Like, she has hundreds of clocks every hour, every half hour, and they all relate to do something. She lives this orderly lifestyle, chat, because of the traumatic situation that happened to her in Nightwing Camp 1978, chat. But she gets up, she has her sad fucking TV dinner of macaroni and cheese. She doesn't even make it by hand. It looks sad, looks like fucking yellow slop. Has a side of whiskey, chap, Jim Beam, cheap whiskey, but good for mixing. But she's drinking that shit straight. Just scoop of mac and cheese in her mouth, shot of whiskey. It's like, you're gonna die. You're not looking good, Britta. He does that, and then she just stares into the middle distance like this. And then another fucking timer goes off, chat. And this time, she has to check, make sure all the locks are good. She has like 15 locks on her door. She has to check her back window, chat, but she doesn't lock it all the way because Major Tom, okay? Major Tom, he's a barking. She's like, God damn it, Major Tom, okay? I'll get to you. She's got to feed him, chat, man. She's, feeding. He's like the watchdog, so in case any serial killers come back, he'll start barking, and then she'll fucking take off, chat, leaving Major Tom behind. Now, she'd take Major Tom with her, chat. That's her baby boy. It's the only other person really in her life. Also, she goes and sits back down, chat, continues to watch TV. I don't know what does she do for a living? Does she did she inherit some money? I don't think so, as we learn about her parents and things, but it's weird how for whatever reason she's able to live this lifestyle, not even go outside. But whatever. But she's doing all her safety checks, chat, and we see like what's right in front of her, next to her ashtray, next to her fucking Jim Beam glass and ice in there, is the note that Nick Good left her. From the previous movie, chat, saying it's happening again. And she just passes the fuck out because she's just stuffed with mac and cheese, chat, and Jim Beam. And she's like, oh, and that makes you sleepy, chat, when you have nothing but whiskey and macaroni and cheese all day. But she passes out. But then all of a sudden, chat, we see these fucking flashlights coming through her window and out her front door. And she wakes up because she hears the alarm. And she sees these flashlights. She's like, Jesus Christ. And so she gets moving. She's like, she's going to get her goddamn shotgun, chat, because she's going to blast a couple of fools who are trying to come on her house. Are these the fucking Shadyside killers? She's ready for it, chat. She's spent the last 20 goddamn years preparing for this, nearly 20 years. And so we then cut outside to where Josh and Dina, chat, they're crawling through the window. They open the window that C. Berman did not close all the way. She didn't lock properly. They get in there, and then fucking C. Berman, Britta goes, and she whacks him. She fucking hits Dana in the face. She's got a shotgun. She's ready to do it. They're like, whoa, please take it easy. You're C. Berman. I'm Dina. This is my brother Josh. We called you. And she's like, why are you here? Just like, we were dealt with the witch. The witch is still after us, okay? And she's like, well, the witch is still after you. Then get the fuck out of here. I don't need to deal with that right now, okay? The last thing I want to do is fucking piss off Sarah Fierce like I did back in the year 1978. They're like, listen, we'll get out of here, but we just need to show you something, okay? And so they take her outside. Shall we go to the trunk of Dina's car? They open that shit up where they have Sam wrapped. Remember Sam, chat? She's possessed by the witch, because that's what the witch does. She possesses people and forces them to kill people. Like, this has been happening for like 300 plus years, chat, in Shadyside and Sunnyvale. And, C. Berman's like, okay, I get her out of here, okay? You need to get her out of here. And get off my property. And like, we need your help, okay? And Dina's like, I love her. She's my girlfriend. I love her. I want to grab her ass like that one guy did, like Peters did. I can't grab her ass anymore, C. Berman. She's like, oh my God. Okay, listen. Bring her inside. I will tell you the tale of Fear Street 1978, but be sure to keep her away from Major Tom. I'm like, I hope nothing bad happens to Major Tom. I got a feeling something bad's gonna happen to Major Tom. Strangers, you're good to see you. And Golden Tiger Claw, I hope you're doing very well in the middle of my review for Fear Street 1978. And so they tie up Sam to the radiator in like the bathroom or a room somewhere, chat with the phone cord, and make sure she's like, "Arr, arr," she's doing all crazy noises and stuff. They make sure she's all tied up. And then Dina and then Josh, they all sit on the floor cross-legged while C. Berman, she comes out. She brings her diary filled with all these notes that she's taken over the years. Show the history of the Nightwing Camp Massacre, chat, of 1978. And she sits down, takes a fucking pack of cigarettes, lights one up, chat, gets her fucking Jim Beam, pours herself a glass. She's like, all right, fucks, here we goddamn go. See, for people in 1978, for the kids of Shadyside and for Somerville, oh, it was always so much fun. Nightwing camp. It was great. But little did the people know that first week of camp would turn into a slaughter, would turn to murder, chat. And we open up and we see. Because also, C. Berman says, little did I know that by the end of that first week of camp, my sister would be dead. And then, chat, we cut and we're at Nightwing Camp 1978, right? And we're following this red-headed girl, chat, Max from Stranger Things. She plays the character of Ziggy, and she's doing a Tom Cruise run, chat. She's like, she's chopping air. Something's pursuing her, chat. Something's coming after her. And so she runs out into the field where she sees the tree, the same tree at which they hunt Sarah Fears in 1666, chat. But then someone fucking pelts a rock at her, boom, hits her in the back of the head, chat. She trips, and then she is accosted by that bitch Sheila. Sheila's like, you stole my fucking money, you fucking bitch witch. And she's like, no, I didn't, Sheila, Jesus Christ. But then Sheila gets her goons, chat. Sheila gets her goons to grab good old Ziggy, chat. And they bring a rope, and I'm like, wait, are they gonna lynch this little girl? And this Sheila's just playing that really stereotypical evil fucking bully. String her up, tie her up, and hang her, kill the witch. And like Nick Good's little brothers, he's like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want, Sheila. I think his name's Matt or something, Matt Good. Thank you, Deborah, with my base. Nightwing Camp. Let's get murderous indeed. And so they literally tie her up by her hands and by her neck, and she's like, on the tree. And fucking Sheila's just like, we should just let you hang for what you did. Everything that you've done here. No one likes you, Ziggy. You're a fucking evil bitch witch. And she's like, bah! And that's the thing, because Ziggy's nose starts bleeding there. Chad's like, oh, what the hell's that about? But then Ziggy, she goes, pop, she pops, uses her elbow, Chad, pops Sheila right in her nose. And Ziggy's like, looks like we match now, bitch. And fucking Sheila's going, she's like, Matt, give me your lighter. And he's like, why do you want the lighter? Just give it to me, okay? And so Matt gives her the lighter, Chad, and she flips it open. And he says, you know what, the thing they should have done all those years ago instead of hanging Sarah Fears, because your curse is the reason why all you Shadysiders are all pores, and you're all druggies, and all alcoholics and stuff, okay? They should have burned her, but that's what we're gonna do right now. And she literally like flips on the Zippo, and everyone's like, okay, Sheila, listen, we're all for like, you know, lynching her and beating the crap out of her and stuff, but let's not go crazy and start burning her. She's like, I want to fucking burn her. And she puts the Zippo underneath her arm, chat, and starts cooking her underarm. And Ziggy's like, ow! But all of a sudden, chat, we hear him, a young Nick Good, who we saw in the previous film. He was Sheriff Nick Good. It has a nice ring to it, chat. But he comes running, and he's like, Matt, what the fuck is going on? He's like, nothing, big bro. He's like, get her down right now. Get her down right now. At this point. And then you get this other, I forget this other guy's name. His name's Kurt. I think his name's Kurt. And he's like the eldest member of the, and by the way, no adult in sights. There is only one adult in this movie. Maybe two. I guess technically two adults. For the most part, they are out of sight, out of mind, chat. And we got Kurt. He's from Sunnyvale, chat. tall, strong looking, blonde hair, blue-eyed, Aryan looking motherfucker. And he's like, all right, what the hell was going on here? What caused all this? And Sheila's like, she stole my fucking money. And he's like, Ziggy, is that true? She's like, I didn't steal her money. And he's like, Sheila, did anyone else see her steal? He's like, yes, we all saw her steal $10 from Sheila's fucking purse. Jesus Christ. And, Ziggy's like, they tried to fucking kill me. They strung me up and were burning me. And he's like, don't worry, they're going to fucking pay for it. But listen, Ziggy Berman, there's 5 strikes and you're out. 5 strikes? How many fucking, extra 2? Okay. But if he says 5 strikes and you're out, go pack up your shit. You're leaving camp, all right? Go call mommy and tell you to pick her up. But then Nick Good interferes because he wants to hit that shit. And he says, nah, listen, man, Kurt, listen. How are we going to explain the burn on her arm? Everything will get shot down. We're not going to get paid. Let's just call another, let's just, give her a warning, give them a warning, and put an end to it. Put it to bed. And he's like, good idea, man. Yeah, I need my money. All right, guys, fucking stop hating each other, okay? Be friends. All right, see ya. And so, Ziggy, she goes back to camp. Sheila goes back to, and it's fucking montage chat. Really, really fucking cool montage right here. Eventually, Nick tries to talk to Ziggy, but Ziggy wants nothing to do with it. Get out of here, Nick. I want to talk to you. It's like, all right, whatever. But you get the typical 1970s, late 70s, early 80s slasher camp montage chat. Pick a song of your choice from that decade. Either decade, chat, works out. We then cut to the smelly, stinky outhouses of Nightwing Camp, chat, where we see the sister of Ziggy. Her character's name, what's her character's name? Chat, I forgot. It starts with if it's a C. Her name, chat, is Cindy Berman. And she's cleaned the outhouses, chat, which is just filled with poop. Filled with teenage poop and urine, chat, and red moss for some reason. And she's working with her her boyfriend, chat, Tommy Sattler. Tommy Sattler. That sounds familiar. Oh, chat, I have such things to tell you. But they're scrubbing, and then she gets some poop on her. She's like, oh, no, I got poop on my polo shirt. And Tommy's like, it's okay. It's just like, you understand, Tommy? Jesus Christ, it's poop. And it's like, we can get it out later. It's all right. And apparently he's like, don't worry. He tries to calm her down. He's like, here, let me kiss you. I would not want to kiss someone in the middle of an out. And this is not even like a typical bathroom. This is a fucking outhouse. This is what this is. And so it must just reek. It must just reek, chap. He's like, come here. And they start kissing. He starts grabbing ass. And she's like, Tommy Sattler, don't be grabbing my ass right here. He's like, okay, I'm sorry. He's like, what did we talk about, Tommy? He's like, all right, I apologize. And they keep on smooching. But then after that, Chad, she's done smooching because they're listening to some music and it stops, it cuts off, and they don't hear anyone else scrubbing. There's supposed to be 2 other people in there, and it's her, it's the other 2 camp counselors, Chad, Alice and Artie. And she's like, where are they? And then we immediately cut to Alice and Artie, who are just fucking, chat. They're just thrusting and in and out. And it's like, oh my God. And Cindy walks in and she's like, oh my God, fornication. Oh, and Alice is like, yeah, we're having sex. It's great. And then immediately, so this is weird. The end of this movie is interesting to me because they will show people fucking. We'll show death, but we won't show boobs. We won't show dicks. We'll show them shots of man ass. Show you a lot of man ass, chat. But the ladies, you stay covered throughout it. You don't see no nips. I watched this again. I'm like, I didn't see no nips here, chat. And while they're still fucking and thrusting, next scene, instantly editing, they're fully clothed. And it's like, what the fuck just happened? And, Cindy's like, well, listen, guys, you got to help us clean the outhouses and stuff and do all these things. And then Alice walks up to her and says, oh, what are you going to do? Snitch on us like you did last time? And fucking, Artie's like, yeah, you tell her, Alice. And she's like, I didn't snitch on you, okay? You gotta get over that. He's like, you obviously did, okay? You got me fucking suspended from school over whatever the fucking weird, I don't know what their thing was, but then something about drugs or something, doesn't matter. But Alice resents Cindy because of something she did, during school, last year or whatever. And she's like, well, you gotta keep working. She's like, we know the thing you could do for us right now. You can go get us some drugs from Nurse Lane, because you're gonna go, obviously see her and stuff. And she's like, I'm not gonna bring you drugs. They're like, that's pretty fucking lame of you. We would like some drugs. So really establishing that Alice and Cindy have some history, chat. Don't get along anymore. I mean, they're kind of friends, but not really friends. It goes back and forth. Like, they tolerate each other right now. That's kind of what it is. Eventually, though, we cut back to Ziggy. We cut back to Ziggy, chat, and she's going to go see the person who has the drugs, chat, Nurse Lane. And she walks in there, and she's calling for Nurse Lane. She says, I was assaulted again. I've been burned. Doesn't see Nurse Lane, not inside. Goes to her office, chat. It's all filled with witch shit. All filled with, like, journals of, like, Sarah Fierce, feasts upon the souls of Shadysiders, all that stuff. So apparently Nurse Lane has been investigating Sarah Fierce for quite some time, chat, for at least 10 years by the looks of everything. Like, she's marking the history down, journal entries, and Ziggy's reading all this. And Nurse Lane's like, Ziggy, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm sorry, Nurse Lane. I was just looking for you, and I saw all this stuff. Hobby? Sarah Fierce. She goes, yes, indeed. Oh, Ziggy Berman, is that a burn on your mark? Come here, dude. What have you done now? And so she sits her down, and she's like, okay, listen, you're going to apply this ointment for 3 days, okay, 3 days. I'm going to apply this right now. And she's like, oh, it stings. Yes, it does sting. You must be careful. I'm going to put this wrapping around. We're going to change. You're going to come here every single morning. I'm going to change this for you. So Nurse Lane doing her job, Jet. She's doing a pretty fucking job. Pretty good. Well, Tim Gamers, welcome to stream. Hope you're doing very well. But applies that shit, and then Miss Lane's like, so you saw all that stuff on my desk, didn't you? She goes, yeah, I guess you're into the witch. She's like, I'm not into the witch. Do you know what happened to my daughter all those years ago? Oh yeah, well, I've heard things. Ruby Lane, right? Yes, she had such a beautiful voice. You know the things she did? Yeah, I think she killed 7 people, died that month. 8 people! My daughter killed herself that night, too. She had such a beautiful voice. She was in choir. And then we hear in the background chat, la, 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 la. It's the fucking singing girl from the last movie, chat. That's her daughter. That's her just like, wow, cool fucking reveal. Like, well, everything connects to each other and shit. It's very nice, chat. And Ziggy's like, it's tough. It's real fucking tough. I'm sorry about that. She goes, yes. And I just know that there's more to it. My daughter, she didn't just snap. She didn't just go crazy. It was the witch, Ziggy. And I pray that you'll be careful and you will never anger her or have her anger anyone you truly love. She's like, all right, Miss Lane, thank you for helping me. Appreciate it. And so then she leaves. She walks out the door. And then she's accosted by Sheila again. And she says, oh, whoa, went to go see Nurse Lane, the only one who actually fucking cares about you. She's like, Sheila, just fuck off, please, for the love of God. And she's like, well, whatever. Hey, why don't you go check out your bunk? I think someone might have messed with it. And then she runs away. And Ziggy's like, oh, no. But then Cindy Berman comes there. And she's like, Ziggy, I want to talk to you, okay? She's like, fuck off, sis. I don't want to talk to you. She's like, listen, you have to stop being so mean. You're causing all these trouble. I mean, listen, I'm trying to earn enough money so then I can go to college, and then I can have set up a nice life with Tommy, and we're gonna have a bunch of babies, and it'll be perfect. She says, listen, I'm gonna tell you something right now, okay? Your boring fucking boyfriend is not gonna marry you. You're not gonna go to college, okay? You're gonna be stuck here with the rest of us in Shadyside, because no one in Shadyside is ever able to go anywhere else. We all get addicted to drugs. We all start drinking. We all start having children out of wedlock. That's how it fucking works. And so you can pretend to be this thing that you're not with your fucking makeup and your polo shirts, but you ain't shit, bitch. And she's like, why are you so mean to me, Ziggy? We used to be such friends. And she's like, I go check my bunks. I think these kids fucked with it. And she leaves. Thank you, Bilbo, for resubscribing. I can't do those damn songs. La, 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 la. They're creepy as hell, right? But it's like, ooh. Well, that's fucking not good. Meanwhile, we cut after that chat because, Cindy Berman, she's all upset. She's very upset about the situation. And she's cleaning the mess hall with Tommy Chan. She's complaining about it. She's like, I don't know what she has this horrible attitude, and she's mistreated me for the last year. And the way she acts, it's just horrible, Tommy. And Tommy's like, yep. Tommy's like, hey, kids, she's going through the change. You know what I'm saying, chat? She's going through the change. She's like, it's not just the change, Tommy. It's other things too, okay? And she gets so mad that she accidentally like splits the sponge. Like she rubs it so hard, chat, in the fucking wood that she cuts it in two. She's like, shit. And he's like, did Cindy Berman just swear? Because she never swears anymore. She just says, gosh darn it, and shucks and shit, and golly gee, and all that. You know, gosh darn. And she's like, Tommy, not now. Not fucking now. I'm not in the mood. And so then she gets up, goes find another sponge chat. Then eventually, she's walking out, and she sees Miss Lane. And she's like, whoa, shit, Miss Lane. I'm sorry, you scared me. And she goes, I saw his name. And she's like, what you talking about? What are you talking about? And Tommy's there. They're in the mess hall. And Miss Lane is just standing there with a fucking butcher's knife, like in her hand. She's like, Tommy, I saw your name on the stone. I'm so sorry for what I have to do, but no matter what, you'll be dead before it's morning. And he's like, Miss Lane, please. And she goes, rah! And she like goes right for him. She's trying to stab him. And Cindy's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And he's like fighting her off, Chad. She falls down and she's trying to stab him good. Hits his head in the back of this bench check, because they have all this bench seating in the mess hall. Boom, hits it, and he throws her off of him, and she hits her head against the wooden table, Chet, knocks herself out, and he's like, oh fucking Jesus, oh God, and then like a little fly buzzes around his head, Chet. We then cut, and the Sunnyvale police have shown up, and, you know, they've taken Nurse Lane, Chet, they put her in her stretcher, they have her restrained, they're put in the ambulance, and then we have this officer here. He's asking questions, and he's like, so have you having any previous engagements with Miss Lane here? Has there been any bad blood? Is there anything, you know, anything like this before? And they're like, no, I've only go in there to get bug spray from her and say hello or goodbye. That's all I've really ever done with Miss Lane or interacted with her. And he goes, yeah. I probably just went fucking crazy like her daughter. And just like, Cindy Berman's like, I think it might be more than just that. She's like, nah, it's all them fucking Shadysiders always going crazy, even though these two kids are from Shadyside. That's probably the only explanation. Just snapped like all the other Shadyside killers. And Cindy Berman's like, nah, there's fucking more to this. There's fucking more to this. And she needs to investigate, chat. We then cut to, Nick Good. Nick Good, he's there, and he talks with one of the officers. Nick Good's father, he was also sheriff of Sunnyvale, chat, passed away, and the officer's like, hey, how you doing there, Nick Good? Sheriff Nick Good's gonna have a good ring to it. Just take it easy on me when you're my boss. And he smacks his ass. He's like, yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. We then cut to Ziggy, who has then entered her cabin, chat, finally, unaware. Oh, that's the thing. That's when Sheila tells her, I think, yeah, sorry that your fucking crazy friend, Nurse Lane, tried to kill someone, just like you. She's like possessed by the witch, and now you're possessed, Ziggy Berman. She's like, you go check your cabin out, see if anyone messed with it. And that's when she goes, and she sees that her cabin's been completely destroyed. Chad has graffiti on it, like Ziggy is a bitch, Ziggy is a witch, Ziggy sucks cocks in hell. It's like, Jesus, a lot of cock sucking in this movie, Chad. It's in the written word, and so it's not great. Eventually, though, Chad, we cut to the mess hall where everyone, after this, like, we're just gonna continue on like nothing happened, where everyone, all the campers are there, all the Sunnyvale and Shadyside campers are there, Chad. You have on the shady side, you have Cindy Berman talking with, I don't know what the fuck her name is, but she's like the dumb one that's always getting high. That's what we're going to call her, chat. We're going to call her Becky. We're going to call her Becky for the sake of convenience. You got Gary, good old Gary, chat, and you got Tommy, and they're going back and forth having fun, trying to make light of the situation. But Tommy's clearly, like, not himself, because he's just kind of, like, staring off like this the whole time. Always like a fly buzzing around him. He's like, oh, what's everyone saying? What's everyone talking about? And they're like, are you okay, man? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. Just, you know, hit my head. And his head's like always bleeding now. It's like, he got a little fucked up. So he's like, are you okay, Tom? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. Sure. We then see Kurt immediately stand up in the front of the mess hall and does this Nazi-esque Sunnyvale speech. It's like, we must destroy the Shadysiders. They are weak. They are not as supreme, not as good, not as strong as us Germans, I mean Sunnyvale, and he just does this fucking speech about how we have to destroy evil, and they're fucking evil. Like, there are little kids on that side from Shady, so he's telling them that they're evil. And then you have Becky or whatever her name is get up. She's like, hi everybody. Everybody, no matter what happens, we know we're all gonna do our best. In Shadyside, even though we've never won. So this is the whole thing. It's like it's about a color war, literally called a color war, chat, where it's basically like tag. It's night. It's like you start at night and you gotta find all these people. You grab all the people, or you're also looking for their flag too. That's in the woods. It's pretty simple. It's like it's capture the flag, chat. That's what this color war is. Little racist, if you ask me. And that's what they're doing. And so they're like setting up. So it's Sunnyvale versus Shadyside, chat. That's how it is. Sunnyside, or excuse me, Somervale has always won. They've always won every single color war, chat, for decades. While Shadyside, they haven't won shit. And so yeah, that's why you have Becky going up there. It's like, no matter what happens, we know we're all try our best. And inside, we know that we're real winners. Boo. She's like, ha ha ha, I fucking hate you, Jesus. And so they're all getting this already, chat. Eventually, we cut back to Ziggy getting, and she's in the art cabin, chat. She's getting all these paints and things. And Cindy Berman, she goes to confront her sister, but you know, Ziggy doesn't want to talk to Cindy at all. She's like, but just talk to me, okay? I want to know if, like, if when you went in there was Miss Lane acting weird? Do you see any drugs in there? And Ziggy's like, she's a fucking nurse. Of course drugs are in. She's like, you know what I mean? Was there any, like, unopened bottles or unmarked bottles? And she's like, listen, okay, I'm going to tell you what it was, Cindy. It was the fucking curse. And she's like, what are you talking about? There is no such case. Yes, there is, all right? Because Shadyside, it's miserable. Like I said before, we're all alcoholics. We're all druggies. We're miserable, all right? That's what our lives are like. And you got to stop pretending that it's going to be anything but that. And she's like, you are so mean. Again, I'm just telling you the God honest truth, okay? So how about you stop pretending to be this stuck-up, prissy bitch and start acting like the rest of us Shadysiders? She's like, I just can't imagine how you became such a monster. She goes, that's what everyone calls me. And then she leaves. She have all this paint. After this chat, we then go to Tommy. Cut to Tommy, who is just acting weirder at this point. Like, he's talking to all the Shadyside kids, explaining the rules of color war, and he's like, all right, guys, listen, in color war, you need to keep the flag protected, and you go out there and you murder all the kids. I mean, you tag the kids, you then bring them back to the jail where you stab them. I mean, where you keep them under lock and key, okay? Jeremy, Fatty McTubbs, and this fucking poor kid, chat. He's like, I am Jeremy. And he's like, Jeremy, you're the most important person, okay? You're going to have to be the jailer. You got to guard these kids and make sure that they don't escape. It's like, are you okay, Mr. Sattler? He's like, yeah. Yeah, I'm fine. And then Cindy comes over. She's like, are you okay? He's like, I'm good. I really hurt my head is all. I just really hurt my head. It's like, she got me good. She goes, yeah, okay, well, listen. Come with me. We have to do some investigation. And he's like, all right, shit. Kids, go out there, hide the flag, hide and do whatever. I got to go with my girlfriend. And so the two of them, they go into the office, chat. They go into the office. And they're you know, looking around for drugs. They find a bottle, chat. They find an open bottle with no label on it, and it has like some type of name on it, like LB1 or some bullshit. And they're like, see, this is what it must be. She took all these drugs. See, there is no witch's curse. But meanwhile, chat, fucking Alice and Artie, they come in and are like, oh, what are you guys doing here? She's like, we're trying to do an investigation, find out what happened to Miss Lane. No one seems to care. It's like, who gives a fuck, man? Let's get some drugs and shit. What's that? And she grabs the bottle from, Cindy. And she, like, pops one in her mouth. She gives one to her boyfriend. She's like, you don't even know what that is. She's like, we're just here to have fun, man. Jesus Christ, Cindy. Used to be fun. We used to do drugs and snort coke and shit. Now look at you in your polo shirt. Come on. And they see the journal on Miss Lane's death. By the way, the police did not take any of this for evidence. They just didn't take any of this. It's like, why didn't you take any of this stuff? It doesn't make any sense, but it's like, all right. And they see the journal, and they open it up, and it has like a whole map in there. And it's like and it's apparently it was the location of the Shadyside Sunnyvale 1666 village. And it's all marked out, and apparently Miss Lane, she's figured out where certain areas are on the map, like where the original town hall was is where the mess hall was. Where the outhouse is where this other thing was. And she also on the map is marked the location of Sarah Fear's house. And Alice and Artie are like, fuck, man, let's go take some drugs and then go to the witch's house and see if we can see some crazy fucking shit. And, you know, Tommy's like, and it's like, I don't know why he's doing that, but he seems to be doing okay. Cindy, come on, come with us. Let's have drugs and go to the witch. She's like, oh my God, guys, no, Jesus Christ, come back. We need those things. We need to call the police. We'll call the police afterwards. Come on, let's go. And so they all fucking head out there, chat, to Sarah Fear's house while Tommy is just like, just acting weirder and weirder. Turns out their second legs like, oh, my tummy, just shits themselves. That would be great. It is something. I'll tell you what that is in a bit. We then cut, chat to Ziggy's cabin where she is stirring like all these paints together. Chat. She gets water, all this paint, and Nick Good. He knocks on the door. He's like, Ziggy Berman, are you there? She goes, go away. He's like, it's Nick, and she's like, go away, Nick. He's like, I'm coming in. And he's like, listen, like, what are you doing? Because he sees that he has the paint. He's like, oh, you're gonna do a Carrie. She's like, you know about Carrie? He's like, yes. I read Stephen King's, my second favorite after Salem's Lot. She goes, oh, you're a nerd. He's like, no, Stephen King's popular. He's not just for nerdy people. She's like, yeah. And he's like, listen, because he sees all the graffiti on the wall and stuff and sees that, oh, fucking Ziggy is a witch bitch. Ziggy sucks cocks in hell. And nice verbiage there. He's like, listen, we can do better than Carrie, okay? She's like, what, you're going to pull a prank with me on Sheila? He's like, yeah, let's do it. And she goes, okay, let's fucking do it. Let's see what happens here. Eventually, chat, we cut back to the woods. It's nighttime at this point, early evening, and Tommy's just acting weird. Like, he's like, and it's like, he looks like he's hallucinating, like he's super fucking sweaty, like more than usual. And so he's like, are you doing okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. She touches him. She's like, oh my God, Tommy, you're super cold. She's like, here, take this coat, and he gives him this, this lumberjack-esque coat, chat. He's like, thank you. And so they continue towards the thing. They hear Alice go, "Arr!" And she screams, and they run towards her, chat, and she fell into a grave. And they're like, what happened, Alice? She's like, there's these fucking holes everywhere. And apparently, chat, Miss Lane they open her journal up, and they read, and she was been looking for Sarah Fierce's body this entire time. But as they're talking and shit, and, you know, Alice is still arguing with Cindy, they're going back and forth. Artie's like, I need to pee. So Artie, he pops another pill. She's like, I'm not feeling nothing. He takes a pill. Alice takes another pill, and he goes and pees like in a tree somewhere, and he spots Sarah Fear's house, and he fucking waddles over, shirt cocking, and just big old schlong hanging out. He's like, guys, I found the house. And it's like, oh, fucking fantastic. And so they go to the house shed, and it's, you know, they realize that, okay, like the main portion of the house is destroyed, but they can go underneath to the basement. And so they go under these stone steps, shed. They go all the way down. And Tommy at this point's like, guys, I don't feel very well. I'm just going to sit here, okay? And they're like, all right, no problem, Tommy, no problem. And so he sits there, chap. He sits down there, and they go into this hidden room. They go through there, and it's all filled with witch shit. It's just books and stuff, perfectly preserved, by the way. And they find all these stone tables and tablets and concoctions and stuff. And they're like, what the fuck is all this crazy shit? As they're investigating everything. Then eventually Artie says, oh, guys, just realized the things we've been taking, the LB1s, it's just Tylenol. It's nothing. It's just Tylenol. And so Cindy's like, if it's just Tylenol, then this couldn't have been what made Nurse Lane go crazy, obviously. And then fucking Alice brings up, it's like, it's the fucking curse of the witch. That's what's doing it. She's like, what are you talking about? You don't believe that. That's what Ziggy believes. It's nonsense. And she goes, you know, you used to believe in this kind of stuff too, Cindy. She's like, well, then I grew up. And they start arguing back and forth and things. And Artie's like, all right, I'm gonna let you two ladies work this out. I'm gonna go out with Tommy and we're gonna do some drugs. And he goes out. He's like, yo, Tomster, what's up? Tommy's just like, he's acting weirder, and he's just sitting there, like, staring at the middle distance chat. Has that 1,000-yard stare. Artie's like, hello, Tommy, what's up, man? Our girlfriends are fighting. Hey, dude. He's like, all right, whatever, dude. Dick. See you back at camp, dick. And he's going over. And then we hear the music, hustler, which you never want to hear the hustler. You never want to hear the hustler music, chat. And eventually, Alice and Cindy, they walk out, and Tommy, he looks to his right where is just a collection, Chad, a wide variety of axes, of scythes, of knives, of machetes. Like, I'm gonna take this one. He takes this fucking axe and he just goes right towards Artie. Artie's like, Tommy, you got up. Hey, man. Tommy, what are you doing? And Tommy's like, and just hits him right in the fucking face. Right there in the eyeball, chat. And he falls down like 3 times until his head just splits open 3 different ways, chat. Brain, matter, blood. It's very good. Some very good practical effects in CGI. It's a blending of both, and it looks fucking great, chat. And hustle, and the Cindy and Alex are like, oh my fucking god, and they're all freaking out at this point. And they run back into the witch's den, and Tom, he's like, he's coming after them, chat. And Cindy, she found like a secret tunnel earlier, and so she flips open, she pushes this bookcase aside, and they all go down into their chat as Tommy's chasing after them, but all this commotion causes a cave-in, and it separates them. It's like, holy fucking shit. And, Cindy and Alice are like, oh, and they hear Tommy going, and it's like, he's still alive. Oh, my God, I can't fucking believe it. And they start arguing at this point because, your boyfriend went crazy and axed my boyfriend in the face. You'd be a little upset. At this point, chat. I get it. But then Tommy, he gets out of the fucking witch's den and he starts heading back that camp, chat, with axe in hand. Meanwhile, chat, we cut to, that's the other thing too. What happens is Alice and Cindy, they find the witch's stone. It's the tablet that we saw before, Chad, in the previous movie, which has all the names scrawled on it. And it connects back to what Miss Lane said, because the most recent name is Tommy Sattler, Chad. It's like, holy shit. And that's why they went outside to say, like, hey, what the fuck's this all about with Tommy Sattler's name being on there? It connects. It's like the witch's curse at that point. It's all connecting. Meanwhile, chat, we cut back to Sheila, who's being a big fucking bully, not only to Ziggy, chat, but other campers. She's like, get in there, you Shadyside trash. You're prisoners of Sunnyvale now. And she like grabs him and pushes him into the jail and shit. She's like, make sure that fucking dweeb stays here. And then this one guy, this one jabroni, chat, he's like, Sheila, there's a note for you. He opens it, chat, it's from Matt Good. And it's like, follow the flowers. And she's like, ooh. And she follows the flowers, chat. She's like adjusting like her. It's like, okay, these look great. Now suck in. Woo, looking good. Look at his ass sticking out. Let's do this, girls. And so she follows the flowers, chat, to the outhouse, which is kind of like, all right, kind of weird that you want to have sex in an outhouse. Not very hygienic in my opinion, chat, but whatever. There's a lot of pent-up aggression because he died a virgin. Yeah, it's true. It's true, he did. He was a virgin. Tommy was a virgin. We didn't realize that. He just fucking lost it, chat. All that backed up spunk. He's like, ugh! And it would send him into a murderous rage. But she goes up the steps of the outhouse, and it leads into, she's like, Matt, are you in here? And we see that the flower's leading to a stall. And she goes, I'm going to prefer this to do with this in your bunk, but, I mean, this is kind of hot. No, it's not. It's like, listen, I get the sense that Sheila's not that smart, I mean, aggressive, bully, not allowed up there. But I'm like, I think I would be smart enough to realize, like, I don't want to have sex in an outhouse. I have my, I have my certain things that I will or will not do, Chad. I have my limits. And Sheila says, I will fucking do anything. I don't give a shit. I will fuck on a shit-covered stall if I know I'll have sex with Matt Good. It's like, all right, girl, do what you want. And then she goes into the stall, Gold goes in, and there's another note that says Sheila. And she takes it down, and she's like, and opens it up, and it says, look up. At that point, like, oh, we're fucking dead. She looks up, and we see this giant bucket filled with roaches and spiders and shit. And then we see Nick and Ziggy in the stall next to her. They pull the string, and it dumps all these cockroaches. She's like, oh my God, they're in my boobs! They're inside my boobs! And they're burrowing inside of her boobs. And they're like, oh. And Nick and Ziggy, they run out of the stall, chat, and they lock and they put a fucking screwdriver in the door handle so she can't, like, get out, chat. She's stuck in there as the bugs start to feast upon her body. And they're like, ha ha! And they all fucking laugh, and they go to the science and nature building, chat, where they go in there, and this is where the romance starts to happen, chat, because Ziggy's like, oh my god, she sounded like a frog, and Nick's like, yeah, it was pretty funny, and she's like, so who the hell are you, man? He's like, and he does like a hair flip. Ugh. The name's Nick Good, and they shake hands and stuff. It's like, yes, the romance is a brewing, chat. Meanwhile, I think at this point, where do we cut back from? Oh yes, we cut to Cindy and Alice. They're still arguing, still having that back and forth. Alice is just kind of beside herself because, you know, Cindy's like trying to find a way. Alice is like, fuck it, who cares? We're going to die down here anyway. We're even trying. She's like, we have to try, Alice, okay? Or we have to do something. Do something like how you snitched on Artie and I back in school. And she's like, you got to fucking drop that, okay? She's like, if you could do it right now, could you kill your boyfriend? Could you kill Tommy? Because he's definitely going back to camp. He's going to kill all the people. And she's like, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know. It's like, because you don't have the fucking spine. She's like, shut up. And she pushes Alice away. And there's the fucking Cindy Berman I used to know. Had a backbone, knew who she was. I don't know who this other person is nowadays. The one I see, you know, fucking skipping through camp with her perfect fucking boyfriend who just axed mine in the face. And so he's like, I'm gonna go down this tunnel and you're not gonna follow me. And Alice is like, fine with me. And so Cindy, she starts going down this tunnel, chat, and she, you know, she's walking down, and then all of a sudden Alice goes, boo, and she's like, oh, I told you not to follow me, Alice. She's like, you want a fucking circle, numbnuts? And she's like, oh, yeah, I see that now. But she's looking at the map, and she's like, wait. This isn't just a diagram. This is an actual fucking map. And if we follow all the points here, we'll be able to get out, maybe get back to camp. And Alice is like, okay, let's just fucking do that. Let's do it. Meanwhile, they make amends for that moment. At least it's like, we hate each other, but let's just get the fuck out of here. Meanwhile, chat, we cut back to the Shadyside jail where little Jeremy, chat, the little chubster, you know, he's a little round boy. He's interacting with the prisoners going, well, hey guys, listen, I know that we're going to be here all night. Do you guys like want a water or something? And go, no, we don't want a fucking water. He's like, okay. You guys want to play a game like charades or, I don't know, checkers or something? And they're like, shut the fuck up, nerd. And he's like, okay, that's fair. It's so bad. But then he hears someone like outside, like baiting on something. And he's like, oh, okay, Jeremy, now's the time to stand up and to prove yourself. And so then he goes over to the door. He goes over to the main door, chat. He's like, don't be fucking with Jeremy. And he kicks it open. She's like, nah. And he's like, hello? And these kids come out, these Sunnyvale kids, like, hey, fucking nerd. And they throw eggs at him. He's like, no, not the eggs. I'm allergic. And so he gets all swollen in his face and stuff and covered his glasses in yolk. And the Sunnyvalers rescue the Sunnyvale prisoners. Like, ha, you fucking suck, nerd. He's like, I do suck. And he's trying to get all of his eyes out of his glasses. And he puts them back on. And we see Tommy just, hustle. And he's like, Tommy, is that you? Counselor Sattler, is that you? And fucking Tommy just starts walking up and he sees the action. He's like, oh no! And he starts fucking killing him. Just starts hatching in the death, axing in the death, and just all Jeremy everywhere, Chad. Just bleeding out. It's so sad. Poor Jeremy, Chad. Hustle. Eventually, Chad, we cut back to Nick and Ziggy, and they're still talking to each other, talking about their mutual interests and things, you know, and Stephen King, and how, you know, Ziggy's like, you're not like a lot of Sunnyvalers, and Nick's like, it's true, I'm not. I like Stephen King, I like spiders, I like gross stuff, you know. It's just that my dad, before he passed away, he gave me the whole big legacy speech, like everything that I was is now you, Nick. You have to follow the family, you know, path and become sheriff. And I don't know if I really want that. And Ziggy's telling him, like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be what your dad wants you to be. Choose your own path. And, you know, and he's like, yeah, I mean, I like all these things. And maybe I also like the weird girl from Shadyside. She goes, maybe I like the boy from Sunnyvale. And they start kissing. They start smooching, chat, which is weird because, I guess they're close in age. At first I'm like, how old? What's the age difference? But I guess it's like 3 or 4 years, so it's not, I don't know. However, maybe he's like 17 and she's, I don't know, 15. I don't know what the age difference is, but they're maybe they're 16, 17. I'm not sure. But they start fucking smooching, chat. They fucking start smooching at this point. But then, boom, someone comes in and someone's like, someone's been killed. They're like, what the fuck? And no more smooching, chat. No more smooching. I feel bad for Jeremy too. Like, that kid didn't deserve to die, but at the same time, it's like, I kind of admired the fact that they kill like a lot of kids in this movie. They kill a lot of kids in this movie. Like, we don't really see that too often in slasher films. Mostly like the little kids, they survive or they get out the last minute and stuff. But no, they kill. I think most of the people that die in this are little kids. So it's like, all right, good for you, movie. Beating the trope. They beating the stereotype, chat. They enforced the casting, indeed. And, oh, I can see that. Over Nick Good as a young Reed Richards. I can see if they go really young. I can almost see Nick Good as that guy. I wouldn't mind that. Anyway, eventually, chat, we cut back to, where are we at this point? Yes. So they're told about that there's been a murder, and they run to the cabin where they find Jeremy's just dissected body, chat. All just meat and brain matter everywhere. And it's like, holy shit. And it's like, okay, we have to get these kids. We got to get these kids back to the mess hall. Color War's over. Let's start calling, get Gary in here. And they start calling all these people. And they all get back to the mess hall at this point. And they count, like, we have 33 kids here. And Gary's like, holy fucking shit, there's still like 30 kids out there at this point. Like, we got to get them back. And Ziggy's like, my sister's out there. And, Nate's like, no, you have to stay here. I will get your sister. She's like, no, I need to go out there. And he's like, touches her face. She's like, no, I need to make sure you're okay, Ziggy. Even though we've only known each other for like a day, I need to make sure that you're safe. And Gary's like, dude, she's a camper. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? And he's like, it's okay. Gary and I are going to go out there and find your sister. And Gary has a great line. He's like, wait, what? There's a killer out there, man. It's like, and we're the two eldest people here. He's like, oh, Jesus. And so they run out there, chap. But then Ziggy, she's accosted by Sheila's friends. They're like, what the fuck did you do with her? What the hell did you do with her, witch? And she's like, what are you guys talking about? Leave me alone. He's like, Sheila, where's Sheila? And she goes, oh yeah, Sheila. She's like, I'll be right back. And she runs out. She's like, Nick, we forgot about Sheila. Shit. And she runs back to the outhouse, chap. Meanwhile, we cut to Cindy and Alice, chat, and they're continuing their path down the cave tunnel. And they come to this big open room, and they see something that is incredibly fucking disgusting. Chat, it's like, do you hear that? Like, it sounds like thumping, it sounds like a heartbeat. And right in the middle of this giant room, chat, is this swollen mass of meat and organs. It's just going blah 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 blah, and it's like a heart. And Alice's first thing that she, like, when she sees it, she's like, I gotta touch that. It's like Prometheus all over again. It's like, it's beautiful. And it's disgusting. It's covered in mucus and shit. And she goes like, right into it. And she goes, and then she sees all the history of this abomination heart, chat. All the way back in 1666, all the various killers before 1978, chat, up until Tommy Sattler, chat, axing poor chubby Jeremy in his fucking noggin. All that. And she comes out of it. And Cindy's like, Alice, are you okay? And then Alice is like, woo! Because she sees, like, Cindy is all covered in, like, stab wounds and hatchet wounds. She's got axe to death. And she just starts running like, oh, God. Oh, God. She sees all these dead bodies everywhere. All these kids with their eyeballs scooped out going, oh, my eyes. And she's like, oh. And she just keeps running, chat, until she trips, gets her foot caught between two rocks, thing snaps, bone just comes shooting out. She's like, there's this huge, just meaty, gory bone sticking out of her leg, chat. It's like, ooh, that's a bad snap. That shit ain't good. After that, chat, we cut back to, where are we here? So Nick and Gary, they're continuing to get all the campers and trying to get them out of there as fast as possible, chat. They're getting more people saying that Color War's over. Get your asses back to the meeting hall, to the mess hall. That's where you need to be. So they're all running back and stuff. Eventually, we go to Sheila. We go to Sheila, chat. And, Oh, no, we're not at Chile yet. No, my apologies, chat. My apologies. We then cut to, because that's the thing. After Nick Good is like looking for everybody, so he gets some of the Sunnyvale kids, and he's like, where the fuck is everybody? Where's Kurt? Where's that dummy drug girl? And we cut, chat, and we see Kurt is fucking the Shadyside druggy girl, just fucking going at it and shit, but tasteful, chat. No nips, no cock, none of that shit. And they finish and do their thing. And then he weirdly threatens her after. He's like, if you told anybody that we had sex, you're gonna die. And she's like, whatever, okay. And he gets up. She says, well, just admit it, that Shadyside does it better. He's like, I ain't admitting shit, bitch. He's scratching his big ass and stuff. And he goes to the bathroom to shower, chat. Get that Shadyside stink off of him. And then she fucking, the drug girl, what'd she do, chat? She lights up a fucking doobie. Oh, that's what you need after a good fuck. But then Kurt, apparently he's very much against marijuana. He's like, I can smell that shit here. Put that out, Shadyside trash. He's like, you guys should really partake. It'll open your mind, man. He's like, I don't care. And she puts it out, and she hears someone rustling outside. Here's somebody. And so she goes to check, and she puts on her panties, puts on, what's his name, shirt, Kurt's shirt. She's like, hello? Is anyone out there? Hello? And then, whoa, Tommy's there. She's like, Tommy, what happened? What's wrong? And Tommy's like, oh, hustle. She's like, no! And he fucking axes her in the bazunga. Bazunga sheared right off. She has my bazunga. But she doesn't have time to worry, chat, because boom, right in the side of the face, chat, and she's down for the count, and he moves on, chat. Tommy moves on. It's like, Jesus Christ. Eventually, we cut back to Cindy and Alice, chat. Cindy is making a splint for Alice, but again, I don't know how she's able to walk from this point on because the bone literally popped out of her leg, but she makes the splint, uses like a hairbrush and pops the bone. She's like, oh! Ziggy also, or excuse me, not Ziggy. Cindy also admits to, like, I did snitch on you. I was caught with this drugs and stuff. And I was trying to actively, stop doing that kind of stuff and be a better person. And I blamed you for it and Artie, and I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I am a Shadysider, okay? But I want to still be a better person, and I want to still be your friend. And they make up and shit, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. But at this point, like, we can find, there must be another way. Let's keep using the map, and we'll get on. She puts Alice on, carrying her, via her shoulder, and lets her lean on her as they continue onward, chat. Because they know that they're fucking close by at this point. Eventually, chat, we cut back to, we cut back to Matt. We cut back to these, like, random Sunnyvalers and Shadysiders who are all in this cabin, chat. It's the Sunnyvale jail, and they hear Nick Good going, color war's over, you guys can all come back. And the Sunnysider's like, I think that's Counselor Good, he's saying it's over. And the fucking Sunnysider's like, you stay here, trash, I'm gonna go see what Nick Good's saying, okay? But you keep your ass. And he takes the light with him. He's like, but we need that. And so then it's like, I love it, chat. It's like a menagerie of minorities. We have the black girl, we have the Asian girl, we have the Hispanic girl, chat, all perfectly lined up in a row. Because this movie needs to fulfill a quota, apparently, chat. It's going to get it done right here. And the black guy's like, that's okay, guys, I have a box of matches. He lights a match, chat. And right in front of him is Tommy going, hustle. I'm like, oh, Counselor Sadler? Tommy? He goes, oh, and he axes him, chat. Kills all the minority characters. Like, let's get out of here. Let's make sure you're gone. Thank you. Oh, thank you, chat. Mac Freeze, thank you for the follow. You're my new Huckleberry. Appreciate that. But kills them all, chat. Kills them all. Not great. Eventually, we cut back to, like, Nick Good eventually goes to that cabin because he wants to investigate. He's looking for people. Goes in there, chat. Fucking dead little kids in there. Chopped up kid limbs. Big old pile of meat and stuff. And he's like, oh, he's like covered in blood. He vomits. Just everywhere. Eventually, he runs into Kurt, and Kurt's like, I don't know what the fuck happened, man. She was dead when I came out of the shower, man. He's like, oh, Jesus, dude. Whose blood is that? Did you do this? He's like, shut the fuck up, Kurt. Listen, go back to the mess hall. It's where everyone is right now. In 15 minutes, ring the fucking bell. You got to get those kids on the bus and get the hell out of here, okay? Because apparently no one can call the cops. They don't have phones and shit. And I'm going to call the cops. That's what you got to do. You hear me, Kurt? He's like, okay, man, okay. Can I put on some underwear? Get going, Kurt. And Kurt runs off. G runs off. Eventually, we cut back to Sheila. We cut back to oh no. Well, after this, we cut back to Ziggy, who goes to the outhouse at this point, chat. The thing is still in there. The screwdriver's still in there. She takes it out. She goes in. She's like, Sheila, listen, I'm sorry, but we got to get going. There's a killer on the loose. And Sheila just fucking bursts out of the stall, goes, wow! And she's like, you fucking bitch, you fucking witch. And they start fighting. And Ziggy's like, I'm trying to save you. As they're fighting. Eventually, they're just smacking each other, just hitting each other. Chat. Gary walks in. He's like, what's going on? And Ziggy just fucking sucker punches Sheila right in the face. And this is weird, because at this point, we never see Sheila again in the movie, I'm pretty sure. Like, she gets knocked the fuck out, and she is in a stall like that. So, no idea what happened to her after this point, chat. I feel like she survived. Because we don't see her get killed at all. I'm gonna tell you that right now. But she gets boom right in the fucking kisser, chat. Take a breath, dude. I will take a breath when I need to, like right now. Eventually, though, we cut back to Cindy and Alice, and they've come to an underneath. They're actually underneath the bathroom, chat, because this room. They come to the poop room because it's filled with just hundreds of pounds of children's urine and feces, chat, and they're wading through this, and it's just like, oh my god, and there's like toilet paper everywhere, and apparently, I guess no one knew they built the outhouse under the den of Sarah Fears the Witch, chat. It's like, oh, Jesus. And they hear someone like calling up, they hear like arguing up there, and then Alice and Cindy start, hello, is anyone there? Ziggy, is that you? And Ziggy's like, what? And Gary's like, what the hell's going on? He's like, my sister's in the toilet, Gary. She's like, what? Just help me. And they open up the lid, chat, where they see Alice and they see Cindy there. And fucking Ziggy's like, what the fuck are you doing there? It's like, it's a long story, okay? Is there any way you can help get us out? Alice broke her ankle. And they're like, oh, shit. And they realize they can use the bucket that was full of all the cockroaches, chat, and they have the rope attached to it. And she's like, here, we're gonna put this down here, and we're gonna lift you guys up. And Gary and I are gonna pull you up at this point. Gary's like, this is fucking crazy. It's like, don't worry about it, Gary. I'm sure you'll live forever. And so they put Alice. Alice is the first one they get in there. They put her in there. She sits down in the buckets. They slowly pull her up, getting the rope there. She's like about almost there, chat, way over, like more than halfway. And all of a sudden the door opens. It's like, Gary's like, Tommy, listen, can you help us out? And then all he hears is, hustle. And then, oh no, Tommy swings the axe and cuts Gary's head off, chat. His head fucking falls off. And Ziggy's like, holy shit. And she tries to avoid Tommy's axe swings. Meanwhile, Gary's thick body falls through the poop chute, chat, covered in feces and urine, and lands on top of Alice, chat, killing her. No, she survives for now, but just lands on her. She's like, get his body off me. And he's like shitting himself, because that's what happens when you die, chat. And they push him off, chat, as Ziggy just fucking takes off running. Being chased by Tommy Sattler at this point, chat. And they're like, holy fucking shit. Cindy's panicking because her sister's being pursued by Tommy, her former boyfriend, now the killer, chat. Hustle. And, Alice is like, listen, if this is the bathroom, then another path down here will probably get you to a better location, because we're not gonna be able to get there. It's too slick with human feces, too much poop, too much pee, too much whatever the other substance this is. So I'm gonna stay here, you go there, and I'll follow behind you, because I'm just gonna weigh you down at this point. She's like, are you sure? He's like, yes, get your ass going. And so Cindy takes off, following the path. Meanwhile, Alice's nose starts to bleed. And it's like, what the hell? And she remembers something in the journal, where in the journal it says, when your fucking nose is bleeding, or when blood shall fall from you, the witch is near. And she's like, wait a minute. And so she's shifting through the moss, and she finds something. Ooh, what is it? Thank you, Goodbye, Benny. Is Gary the only Sunnyvaler that dies? Is he from Sunnyvale? I thought he was Shadyside. I didn't know if he was, because at this point, because this is what happens after this, because when Ziggy's running away, she goes to the front of the camp where the bus is already taken off, where Kurt has loaded up all the kids that are there, and he's driven off, and we see Tommy walking down the fucking road chasing after Ziggy. She eventually runs into Nick at this point, and they run into the Nature and Science building. And, fucking Nick's like, are you okay? You're bleeding. He's like, no, it's Gary's blood. And then he's like, are you bleeding? And he's like, no, it's 1, 2, 3, a variety of children, a variety of minority children's blood. And she goes, Sunnysider. So I think Gary was a Sunnysider too. So, because that seems to be what is typically being. Now, we have seen Sunnyvalers killed. Like, Peters in the first movie in 94, he was a Sunnyvaler and he was stabbed to the tummy. Oh, my tummy. Remember that scene, chat? So, it does affect both sides, but for the most part, all the killers are Shadysiders, and they have the highest body count. But they're hiding in the Nature and Science building. She says, listen, this is the fucking curse, okay? My sister was down there. I saw all this shit. That's her boyfriend. That's what's happening. You do believe me, don't you, Nick? You do believe me? Like, you're different? He goes, yeah, I totally believe you. And you're like, okay, cool. And then fucking Tommy, he comes into the science, the Nature and Science building, chat, and he sees like a snake in a cage, in a glass cage. He goes, bah! And he smashes that open, chat, because that snake, Tommy's like, he went on that snake and said, hey man, listen, I'm chasing after 2 teenagers right now. Could you like help me find them for me? And the snake goes, yeah. And so he smashes open the glass case, and the snake just slithers all the way towards Ziggy. And Nick Chat starts crawling on him, but then he's like, thank you, Snake. He's like, they're right here, boss. They're right here. Thank you, buddy. Grabs Ziggy Chat, throws her, about to axe her, but Nick pushes her away, and, you know, Tommy axes Nick in the leg. He's like, run, Ziggy, run! And she fucking takes off, Chat. She fucking takes off. Meanwhile, we'll come back to Sydney. And she's found another path, Chat, and she's underneath the mess hall area before. And so she goes up there, is the grate blocking her, and she's trying to, like hit it open, but she can't. She's trying to use her legs to put a lot of force into it and screaming for help at the same time. Meanwhile, Ziggy, she runs into the mess hall, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna have to play some loud music so he can't hear me breathing or stepping or walking or nothing. And she turns on this cassette player where this music where they were used before, like to play to wake all the campers up. She starts playing, it plays all around the camp at this point. And so Tommy, he fucking busts in. He's like looking around, looking for Ziggy, and he's stomping around and shit. And he sees like her feet are covered in paint because she went to like yellow, or maybe it's blood. I think they're covered in blood. And so he follows her footprints all the way to this door, and he opens it, but she's not in there. And he's like, what the hell? And he goes deeper in, and then she comes out behind this shelf filled with food, and she's got a butcher knife, and she's ready to fucking stab him to death. But then the music stops, and he hears her step. He turns around and goes, Rah! Tries to axe her, Chat, but she manages, he grabs her at this point, slams her against these potato sacks, these burlap sacks full of potatoes, Chat, and she takes the potato sacks and starts hitting him in the head. He's like, no, the potatoes. And then she takes one of the burlap sacks and tries to suffocate him with it, and it's really, tight against his face. And he kicks her off of him, and she falls back, and he turns around, and he's the axe killer from 1994, Chat. He's the burlap sack guy. It's like, oh, he just acquired his mask, which I think is so fucking fun. I was like, oh, that, because it's like, wait a minute, is this who we think it is? And it is. He is that. Tommy Sadler is the burlap sack guy. He's the Nightwing killer, Chat. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Potatoes, mash them, stew them. How's it go? Chop them, mash them, put them in a stew. Yes, potatoes. But right before he's about to axe little Ziggy, Chat, gets stabbed in the back by Cindy, because she came up, Chat, and she got a knife, and she starts stabbing. He's like, what the fuck? Turns around, and Cindy's like, Tommy. And he just stabs him multiple times in the heart until he falls down dead, Chat. Falls down dead. Ziggy and Cindy, they embrace. They start apologizing to each other. Cindy's like, I'm Ziggy. You're right. I'm sorry. I haven't been there for you. I haven't been a good big sister. I've been obsessed with appearances, and I haven't been there when you need me. When our fucking, when our mom became an alcoholic, when our dad ran off with someone who was my age. I'm sorry, okay? And Ziggy's like, I'm sorry for being a little shit and a monster. And Cindy's like, but you're my little monster. That's who you are. And eventually Alice is like, hey, I'm right here. Can you guys help me? Like, Alice. And they help her up. And they're like, what are you doing? It's like, I said I'd eventually follow you. By the way, I got something you're going to want to see. And they're like, what is it? 3 guesses. And Chat, she says, I read the journal. I was reading the journal. And it's, remember that whole entry about you'll start bleeding when she's near? Here it is. It's her fucking hand. So here's the witch's curse, Chat. Years ago, this is established in 1994. Sarah Fierce made a deal with the fucking devil where she severed her hand and to make her immortal, and so she can have vengeance across the people that wronged her, across the town that wronged her forever. But if her hand were to be reunited with her body, then the curse would be null and void and she would die. And they're like, holy shit, so we have the hand and we know where her fucking body is buried. It's underneath that tree. And they're like, oh my God, we'll just go there right now. But you know, we'll sit, Ziggy and I will go there right now. And Alice is like, no, I gotta come with you guys. Like, Alice, you broke your ankle. Okay, stay here, stay where it's safe. She's like, no, I have to do this. My whole life, I've wanted to do something like this. I watched my father go to jail when I was 6 years old. I watched my mother get arrested when she was just trying to steal food so we wouldn't starve. I watched my boyfriend get axed in the face by somebody, okay? And I wanna be able to say that I did something. Meanwhile, we cut back to the grotesque giant meat heart where apparently Sarah Fierce is like, oh fuck, they're trying to get my body. All right, I'm gonna birth some more killers, and where the thing literally opens up like this, like a demonic vagina and starts birthing these meaty blobs that then like form like the killers from the past. You're like, oh! And we then cut to Tommy, who he's coming back alive too, Chad. His hand is twitching and stuff. So she's like, all right, come on, respawn, let's go. Alice is doing this speech, and she's like, and you bet your asses that I'm going to do this for you guys because you're my true family. Now let's go. And she turns around, Tommy's like, hustala, and boom, just chops her right in the goddamn chest, Chad. She's like, shit. And she falls down. Cindy's like, no, Alice! And she runs over there, she have a fucking shovel, and she, like, pushes Tommy in the wall, and just presses down until his head is severed by the blade of the shovel, Chad, until it falls off, and he's decapitated. And we're like, we got in there, like, going to Alice, and Alice is like, fucking figures, and she dies. It's like, no! She dies. Alice is a cool character. And it's like, okay, we gotta get fucking going. The witch is trying to come after us at this point. So they run towards the tree as Tommy's body is starting to come back together, chat, like a grotesque, meaty Humpty Dumpty. They go to the tree. They have these trowels and shovels, and they just start digging under the branch where they knew they hanged her, because in the legend they say we hanged her under the branch, or we buried her under the branch that we hanged her. And so they start digging up the dirt and stuff. Meanwhile, all these fucking killers from the past are coming, chat. The little kid with the baby mask and the baseball bat. This one guy who was like a bunch of knives, goes stabby stab. We hear la 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 la. Ruby Lane, Miss Lane, sing-song daughter, all come and chat. We see Tommy, and eventually they hit it. They're like, "Oh, shoot, keep digging, keep doing. We just gotta make sure the hand hits the body, and we're good." And they dig whatever they find up. Their shovels and their trowels hit something like hard, and they uncover it, and it's a big stone, and it says, "The witch shall live forever." Someone moved the body, chat. Who knows, decades ago, centuries ago. And Ziggy's like, what does this mean? Cindy, what does this mean? She goes, the witch will live forever. The body's not here. And they're like, oh shit. And Ziggy says, like, I saw Sarah Fierce where they hunt her. I saw all these things, and then because she bled in the bone, shatter, her fucking the nosebleed land the bone. And Cedar realizes the witch is coming after your blood. She wants you. You gotta run, okay? I'll hold them off. She's like, no, we gotta do this together. She's like, you run when I tell you to run. I love you. And so Tommy's coming towards Ziggy. You know, Cindy pushes her out of the way. She uses the fucking shovel to hit Tommy. And then Tommy just fucking hits her with the axe, like the dull blade of the axe, like the top, boom, right there. And just starts hacking Cindy, chat. One, like, boom, 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 bazungas, tummy, everything. Just, oh my God. Meanwhile, Ziggy, she gets got by, like, this creepy, like, moist, bald guy who has all these knives and stabby, stabby, stab, and starts stabbing her in her tummy. She's like, no! And she lands on the ground. And then Ziggy and Cindy just look at each other as they're being stabbed and hacked to death, chat. Until eventually they die. Until eventually they both die. Then Nick Good, he hobbles over, chat. He's got axed earlier, and he goes to Ziggy's body and starts to perform CPR, chat, which then brings her back to life. And then we cut then to 1994, chat, where it's like, holy shit. Where it's like, wait a minute. You're not Cindy Berman. You're not Cindy Berman. She goes, no, I'm Ziggy. And they're like, wait, what? But you're C. Berman in the phone book. We then cut to in 78 again, where we're like, can we? Because they have Ziggy in the gurney, loading her up into the ambulance and things. And he's like, can we have her name Ziggy Berman? And he's like, Christine. Her name is Christine. Her real name is Christine Berman. Chad's like, oh, shit. And she's like, Nick, it was the witch. It was the witch. Don't you believe me? Don't you believe me? But then we cut 94, and she's like, Nick didn't want to believe me. He didn't want to believe me. Wouldn't look good for the sheriff, the future sheriff of Shadyside or of Sunnyvale, to say that he believed this crazy Shadyside girl about the witch's curse. And so he explains to the detectives, the officers there, it was Tommy Sattler. He just snapped. He went crazy. Just another crazy Shadysider, chat. Thank you. Look, most of the many. This was the most obvious twist ever. Yeah, it was. No, I know. I was like, that's her. They tried to fool you. They tried to fool you. It was like, nah. Very obvious twist. But after that, we then cut to Ziggy Berman, older Ziggy Berman, chat, alcoholic, macaroni-eating Ziggy Berman. And she's like, so I'm going to tell you guys what. Fucking get away from here if you can, because the witch is always going to be coming after. But you still understand, we found the body. She's like, no, you didn't. Yes, we did. We know where the body is, okay? We just need the hand. And she's like, holy shit. She's like, where's the hand? You said it was by the tree. She's because we saw like it was raining and the hand fell back near the tree, Chad, and was buried underneath all the mud and water and dirt and shit. She's like, where is Nightwing Camp now? And we realized, chat, that Nightwing Camp is now the current location of Shadyside Mall, where that tree is, right where Maya Hawke got stabbed by the Skullface guy. And so then Josh and Dina, they drive to Shadyside Mall, which apparently, Chad, they didn't unearth, they didn't take the tree out. They kept that fucking tree there, and they're digging through the dirt, and they find the hand of Sarah Fierce, and then drive. They then drive all the way to where they had the body, and Sam's like, still in C. Berman's apartment, and C. Berman's like, yeah, here's to you, girl. Here's to both of us. And they drive to the location where they believe Sarah Fierce's body is. Meanwhile, Ziggy, she calls Nick Good's office at the police department saying she leaves a message for him, like, can you please inform Officer Nick Good about this thing, about that's happening again, and I want to help. And so they contact Officer Nick Good, and he's like, what? And there's like, this C. Berman, this Ziggy, said that you know her, and he's like, I'll be right there. Papa's gonna have sex tonight. It's like sexy time. And he goes right to Ziggy's house, chap. Meanwhile, we cut to the grave of Sarah Fierce, where they have the hand, or like, and Dina's like, here you go, you fucking bitch. Reunite in your hand, the curse will be over, and my Sam will be free, and I'll be able to grab her ass. It'll be great. And she puts the hand right on into her chest, and she goes, no! And then she sees all these weird fucking visions, chat, and then boom, she wakes up, and she's looking over a trowel of water covered in fucking blood, and she's looking around, it's like, what the hell? And it's all Pilgrim times, chat, colonial era times, and she looks in a reflection, and she's Sarah Fierce, chat. Dina has become the witch, and she's stuck in the year 1666. And that, my friends, is Fear Street 1978 Part 2. Hope you enjoyed the review, my friends. Hustler, hustler, hustler. Hope you liked it. Nuke the Cybermorgan, so to be sure, right? You gotta nuke it. You gotta nuke that shit. But no, Chad, I really enjoyed this movie. This is a fun film. Thank you, look at too many. So the twist being obvious side, it makes no sense story-wise, because Cindy probably could have cobbled together that story with the assistance of Nick, because he was with Ziggy a lot, but Ziggy didn't see none of that shit that happened to ground. Wow, that's a very good point. That is an excellent fucking point. That's really good. Unless when Ziggy touched the thing, she saw all the stuff that Cindy and Alice went through. Maybe she's the witch, man. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, she is. She's literally the witch, man. It's true. Red Wing, good to see you. 5 out of 5 sex in the outhouse. What happened to Sheila? Is Sheila okay? I mean, fuck that bitch, but still chill. Like, what happened to her? It was Dina all along. But no, I hope you enjoyed the review, chat. Like, overall, I'd probably give this, like, I'd give it a low matinee, because I really find the whole Stephen King-esque, like, super evil bullies just insufferable. It's like, all right, come on. Let's get this over with. It's a little too much. It's still very fun. I mean, a big plot hole right there. You're not wrong, Luke the Boss. That's a very good point. But still, it's an enjoyable movie where I'm in the minority that liked 94 better than the first one, but I still like this one. Still a fun watch. I give this a low matinee, Chad. Very, very entertaining slasher. Very well made in terms of its editing and the practical effects. And, you know, the rapport between the characters, I think, is quite good. Maybe not as good as 94, but I still like the interaction. Everybody had, like, Cindy and Alice and Artie and Tommy and Ziggy and Nick Good. Like, all that worked really well for me, Chad. It was fun. She became the Karen of Sunnyvale. She must have. That's what it had to be. RD, my brain is fried. Just called in my online classes for boating. There's so much excess shit to know. I'm sorry you gotta go through that, man. Let me entertain you. Let me serenade you. Let me weave and woo you. That's what I shall do now. She just wrote it. She got knocked the... Oh, wait, wrong film. She got knocked the fuck out. She did. I guess she survived, though, champ. But yeah, overall, I give this a low matinee. Glee, they go to Benny's. Not sure if I can stick around for Loki since I'll be watching with wife later probably. Oh, no problem, Glee. No problem. I understand. We will be making the transition over to Loki right now. We'll be starting the watch party, but I do appreciate those biddies, Glee. Thank you. Cheers and salute you. Thank you all of you guys for the incredible support tonight. It's been a very fun stream. Very fun stream. But chat, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys get ready, get prepped, because we are going to do the Loki watch party. We're going to watch it via Disney Plus, or however the means we're going to watch it. I can't actually show it here, but that's what we'll be doing. So please go ahead and get ready, Chad. In the meantime, I'm going to freshen my beverage. Please entertain yourselves amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. It's happening, Chad. It's happening. Stick around.